I'm going to use this Autumn Carpenter cutter and texture set to make the snowflakes that are going to go on this cake. There are 5 cutters included in the set, but the 2 larger cutters are too big for a cake this size, so I'm not going to use them. I'm just going to use the 3 smaller cutters. And it's handy because each texture sheet has a texture for each cutter shape, so I'm going to be able to have 6 unique snowflakes, which is nice because, you know, no 2 snowflakes are alike. You just need to be careful when you position the cutters that you don't chop off any of the texture. But as you can see, this is a super quick and easy technique. You just roll the fondant, use the texture sheet to add the snowflake texture, and then cut out the snowflake shapes. And I'm going to need 6 snowflakes, so I'm going to put these 3 underneath the plastic flap of my gum paste board so they don't dry out. I've sped up the video here so you don't have to get bored watching me roll out the fondant, but for this set of snowflakes I'm going to use the other texture sheet so that the snowflakes all have different designs, but it's the same technique. You just roll your fondant out, place the texture sheet on top, and then do one pass with the rolling pin to make the texture in the fondant, and then carefully place the snowflakes over the textured part and cut them. Once your snowflakes are made, you can do the fun part, which is decorating the cake with them. I like to use piping gel as my glue to stick cut out fondant pieces to a rolled fondant covered cake. I don't really have a plan or anything like that as far as placing these snowflakes. I'm just kind of sticking them on here randomly. Certainly if there's an area of your cake or a place that you want to hide, this would be a great way to hide any imperfections in your cake. Just cover it with a snowflake. And I've sped up the video to try and save a little bit of time. If you guys don't like this, then please leave a comment and let me know, because I certainly don't have to speed up the video. I just thought it would save you guys from getting bored watching me do the same thing over and over again. Now I'm going to add some of these pearlized snowflake sprinkles to act kind of as filler. So that there's not such great big blank spaces in between the larger snowflakes. And I'm using piping gel to stick the sprinkles to the cake. This won't take very long because once again I've sped up the video for you. And I'm not going to worry about that tear down at the bottom of the cake because I'm going to do a twisted rope border which should cover up most of it. To make a twisted rope border, you basically are going to take 2 pieces of fondant and roll them into long snakes and then twist them together. I'm going to use purple and white so that it matches my snowflake cake. I have sped up the video here because this can take a couple of minutes. If you're lucky enough to have one of those presses or those extruders that makes the rope for you, then obviously this would go a lot quicker and the ropes would be more even. You may notice that on these, since I'm rolling them out by hand, they're not perfectly even. You have a couple of little lumps here and a couple of spots where the rope is maybe a little bit thinner than the rest of it. I'm not going to worry too much about that because once the 2 colors are twisted together, the slight unevenness won't be as noticeable. I usually pinch the 2 ropes together at the top and then I will twist them from both ends. And you have a little bit of flexibility here. You could make the rope pretty tightly twisted. And if you decide to do that, just understand that you're going to need to start off with longer snakes because in order for the twist to be really tight, you're going to need a longer bit of rope to work with in order for it to go all the way around your cake. Or you can make it a looser twist. It's totally up to you, just whatever you think looks best. And then to put the rope around the bottom of your cake, you need to know where the back is. The back of my cake is that bit where it's got the huge tear in it. And then you're going to overlap the rope and then take your angled spatula and slice down straight through where it overlaps. That will help make sure that the colors match up, and it should help you get a pretty even, if not smooth, seam. As it turns out, my camera wasn't running when I dusted the cake with Super Pearl, but here's what the finished cake looks like.